Hey guys, today I have a tutorial on how to improve your builds in 2 easy steps. So what I've got here is I've got 4 things set up that are very similar to the types of things that a lot of people start off building in Minecraft. I know I started building these kinds of things. So we have your stone wall and stone tower, we've got your dirt house, we've got a little cobblestone tower, and then way down there at the end in the distance in the fog, we have a small house. And so I'm going to show you how to improve your builds. Now, first of all, I want you to know that if you like this right here, and you're super happy with this and you think this looks awesome, then you don't really need to do this, right? I mean, like, you can build whatever you want, however you want. But if you want to make things look a little bit more natural, a little bit more detailed and that kind of stuff, then this video is for you. You probably wouldn't click on it if you were super happy with all of your builds. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some things. So there are 2 steps, and the first step I call texture. And when I say texture, what I'm talking about is actually the texture of a block, right? So if I put this block down, right, each of these sides is actually like a little JPEG image or bitmap, or I don't know what the file type is, but it doesn't matter. It's like a little image, right? And so what I'm actually talking about as far as texture is looking at what that picture is on the side of the block. Okay, so what you can do is you can take this same wall, and I copied it and I pasted it over here, and I just changed the texture of some of these blocks. So what I did here is I used, this is the original stone bricks, and then I used some cracked stone bricks, some regular smooth stone, and then I used some moss stone. And all I did was I just varied it up a little bit and put some into the exact same castle. And you can see that it makes it look a lot more sort of realistic, or makes it look aged. And it also, like right here, so I'm trying to explain like how I put these in. So basically, I thought about the moss stone bricks as being, okay, well, if moss is going to grow, then it's probably not going to grow at the top of the tower or the top of the wall. It's going to grow at the bottom here, and it might grow in like sort of different patterns. So you've got kind of a, you know, some of it made it all the way up there, and then right here it didn't grow at all, and then some here, and then some there, and then some there. And so then I just kind of, you know, just popped these out and replaced them with whatever, you know, whatever the brick was, like that. Okay, so there's a couple of like do's and don'ts to this. Like, what you don't want to do is you don't want to do stuff like this, where you have sort of large sections that go all the way through, or like big squares like this. That looks okay, but it's like, see how this is like perfectly straight across? This is kind of like how not to use this idea of these random textures. You want to make more like veins and using diagonals. So like diagonals here, this kind of thing. We've got like a little Tetris piece right there. You know, these kinds of shapes, and so you want to vary it up so that it looks good. And then you can do this as much or as little as you want. So you could put like a few of these in and a few like that. It takes a little bit of practice to get the sort of randomized feel to it, but you can just open up a creative world and just go to town and just enjoy, you know, making some different patterns. Okay, so that is what I call texture. So if you just simply vary the textures, you can go from this, which is cool, but honestly a little bit boring, to this, which looks a little bit more natural. And then the second one that you can do is dimension. And by dimension, I mean moving things forward and backwards and up and down in space. And so this is actually the same wall as this one here, except I messed with the dimensions a little bit. And it looks really complicated compared to the other one, but all this is the same wall, and I cut out these sections that are squares like this, or rectangles like this. So I took that wall right there, that type of texturing, and I just basically cut these out and moved them back 1 block. And then right here you can put some upside down stone stairs, and then it looks like you've got some archways, and it makes it just makes the build pop out a lot more and makes it pop out. So a lot of those people, you know, I've done a lot of, I'm not a naturally good builder, so I've had to practice this a lot. And a lot of people that are naturally good builders, this is just what they do. They, you know, they make so that things aren't perfectly flat. They bring things out and push things back and build them up and stuff. And so let me swing around the back just to show you what it looks like. So on the back, this is the section that just was moved backwards like this. And then you've got these. There's lots of, like if you go on Pinterest, there's lots of different ways to detail a wall like this, but the main idea is to bring things out front, right? Like you could put some stone brick stairs like that and do sort of you know, that kind of a look where it's sort of like a little circle kind of thing, or an oval, I guess. And there's ones where, you know, there's all kinds of details with X's and all kinds of stuff. The top of the wall is the same thing. So these right here, these stairs right here, this is actually where the stone brick blocks are right here. And instead of doing that, I just did a little stair, and then I did an upside down stair right here. You can see it. And then I did a full stone block right there. Sorry, Mr. Banner. There you go. And then right here is just a stone slab. And then what that does is it kind of brings the wall up a little bit, but also it makes these things, I don't think they're called murder holes, but they have a special name. I forgot what the name is, but basically like so people can like pour hot oil and rocks and stuff down on the attacking people. And so it kind of makes it look a little bit more detailed. I did the exact same thing on the top of this tower right here. Exact same thing. So you can actually, instead of, I didn't even do the stairs, you can see the original blocks that made the top of that tower over there, right there. And then I just, you know, upside down stair block, a block on top of that, and then a little thing like this. But there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can play around and experiment, but the main point I'm trying to make here is that all I did was take this simple wall, which is cool. I varied the texture and the dimension, and that's it. Okay, let's take a look at how this applies to a couple other things. This is probably something that you've built. It is a little dirt house. Check it out. Here's a little dirt house, little door. There we go. You probably built one of these. I know I have for sure when I first started playing. And it looks, yeah, it's just a little dirt house. There's nothing else to say about it. So how could we use this idea of texture and dimension to make this dirt house kind of pop out a little bit more and make it, you know, detail it, make it look cool? So the first one is some texture. So here, that's what I did with this. I did some texture. So it's really subtle to see this, but this right here, this block is actually coarse stone brick. Sorry, coarse dirt. So that is coarse dirt, coarse dirt. There's a coarse dirt right there. And then right here, this is podzol. So instead of using just the regular dirt block that turned into grass there, I used a little bit of podzol, and that gives it some texture. And then also, instead of just leaving the windows open, I put a fence post in there. That's just a single fence post to kind of keep the baby zombies out. On the top, I used some grass and some podzol like this. Now, if you don't have access to podzol, like you're playing in survival and like the nearest mega taiga is like 5,000 blocks in any direction, then, you know, you don't have to use the podzol. Just, you know, you could do path blocks. You could go like this, and you could take your shovel. I don't know why I picked a golden one, and then just go boop like that. And then you could even do that to a couple of these like that. And then that varies the texture up enough so that it looks like, okay, it's varied. And then some grass on top. All that is, in case you didn't know this little trick, you can just take some bone meal and you just right click and pow, there's some grass. Just like that. Okay, here's some vines, but those again are optional. Like if the nearest jungle is 1,000 blocks in any direction, like, and you don't want to go there, just don't put them. It's fine. Okay, let's take a look at what I did with that and this one here. I just used and varied the dimension again. So this is actually, if I swing around the back, the exact same dirt house. You can see it right here. It's right here, the boop, derp, derp, like that. And then this block was omitted right here. So I took a bite out of each corner. Like, you don't actually need these corner blocks right here. Let me show you. So if I break that, like, it doesn't go into the house. So then that's one thing I did. So I pushed it in. And then right here, like, I just sort of dragged the... I just placed some blocks kind of going out in a slope there, over here. There's our fence post right there, and over here. And I did the same sort of thing with some bone meal, some podzol, and stuff like that. So you can just vary the dimension. So we varied the texture, and then we varied the dimension. That's it. That's all it is. It's super simple. Now, you might have to practice this a little bit in creative mode to make it look right, but you know, there's nothing to it, really. There's nothing to it. The concept is really simple. All right, let's take a look at this one. So this is a tower that I saw actually online. That somebody posted a picture. They were really proud of their tower. It's a cool tower. It has a little balcony and stuff. And yeah, and I've probably built one like this at least once or twice. Sorry, I didn't build the back there. But yeah, that's that. So then how could we use this idea of texture and dimension to improve this thing? Well, you can see that one over there. It's obviously much more complicated, but it's actually this same tower just kind of messed with a little bit. All right, so check it out. First of all, the texture. So on this one here, I decided to go with the original cobblestone, and then this right here is mossy cobblestone, and it looks a little bit like, I'm using the Faithful texture pack, and it looks just a little bit, I don't know, like instead of moss, it looks like some sort of green goo is coming out of them. But from a distance, you know, it looks like moss is going up. Perhaps vines might have been a better choice, but whatever. And then right here, this is just andesite. So as you can see, I just like the wall, I just kind of varied the andesite. Here, I just varied the textures of these of the blocks, and instead of doing all oak wood, I varied and I did like some actual oak wood. So like those are the planks, and then these are the actual oak wood blocks, and then I just kind of varied up the textures. So these are actually spruce right here, these more chocolatey looking ones, and then these ones here that are a little bit grayer, I guess, look more like these are the regular oak wood ones. And then let's see, did I do the same with the fence post? No, I did change the fence post. I think these are spruce ones, and then these ones here are the original oak ones. I just didn't detail this side at all. And then that's it. And then also I changed the door so that it's a spruce wood door. In the Faithful texture pack and in like the default texture pack, the spruce doors look more medieval to me because they're made of like, they just, you know, the handle, like this does not look very medieval at all. It looks like, I don't know what it is. But yeah, so this looks a lot better, I guess, or whatever. I'm trying not to use the word better because it's like, if you want to build that in your world, like, and that's what you like, then go for it. There's nothing better about this. Okay, this one here looks very complicated, but it's actually the same tower, except I made a couple of modifications, chiefly the top, and I'll tell you why I did that first. So let's swing around to the back to show you where the original tower was. So the original tower is actually this right here. This block right here, it was the original tower, and then it just extended up. So what I did is I took, and again, just like on the dirt house, I just deleted these corners like this, okay? And then also I pushed this middle section back one, like that, just like I did on the wall. And then at the top, we did this is the wrong, I should have cobblestone stairs, but I'm trying to just show you. I just did that, okay, but I used the cobblestone stairs. So you can see them right here, cobblestone, cobblestone, like that. And then that gets this arching look, which I think works really well in more medieval looking builds, is to do some arches, because that's like a really common thing to see in medieval builds, especially the late medieval stuff. Okay, anyways, then these right here, all this is just another solid block coming out, and then 2 stair blocks, 1, 2, and then I did it there, and then I did that here, like this. And then to kind of make it so this corner didn't look so silly, I just did like this and this. Obviously, I used the cobblestone stairs. I just don't want to look for them in my inventory, like that. Okay, so that's all that is. These are some half slabs in there. And then this right here, there's some half slabs and some full blocks to kind of raise the door up a little bit to kind of give it a little bit more of an entrance feel. Okay, then I did, of course, the same texturing thing where there's andesite and there's cobblestone blocks in here, and then some vines. And then I also used the green goo blocks here and there to simulate. Actually, the green goo blocks are mostly behind the vines, if you can see them there. And it just kind of, you know, doing that texture, it's almost like you can feel it. You can feel that not everything is the same. Because like in the real world, like when you look at anything, it's not going to be like perfect patterns, right? So you're trying to vary up the pattern with the texture, and then you're trying to vary up the dimensions to try to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, I guess you could say. All right, here, so we got some iron bars in there, and then what I did was, as I was gonna build the balcony around, I realized that the change of shape, so I made it almost circular, made it so that this balcony just didn't fit anymore. I tried to fit it in, it just didn't fit. So I was like, okay, I need to put it on top, and then as I was looking at it, I was like, it needs to be taller. If I'm going to do that. So I just extended up the same shape, like 6 or 7 more blocks. I don't know exactly. And then at the top here, I just went around with the stone stairs like that. I use cobblestone, but let me just go in my inventory. Fine. I'm really slow at, oh, there it goes. That wasn't so bad. Okay, there we go. And then on top of each one of those, I just put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the corner right here. Whatever that is, wood. And then around the edge, I put some half slabs. And at the top, I built this roof. That's what it's called, a roof. And basically what it is it's a circle that goes around it, roughly. And then another circle on the inside of that. And then I did like a circle of stairs, You can see the stairs. And then I did another circle of half slabs. And then I did another circle of half slabs. And then I put a solid block in the middle with a flag on top. Roofs are they take some practice, especially these rounded ones. But maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to do those later on. This one here I did really fast. It looks a little bit messy because I did that on purpose. So sometimes where there should have been a half slab, I did like a full block kind of thing. And I just kind of varied that up. And also you can see the variation in the texture up here. I used spruce wood and dark oak wood just to kind of make it look like the roof is a little bit more, I don't know, like there's some variation in the texture of the roof. Like if I swing around to this side, there's much less of that, and it just looks a little bit more plain. So yeah, so varying up the texture and the dimension. That's all we're doing. Okay, I'm about to run out of time here. Let me show you this house. This was actually one of the harder ones to do for some reason. But this is a little house. And you've probably built a house like this. You've probably seen some on Pinterest or Google Images, wherever you look for pictures of Minecraft stuff. Whatever. So all it is it's a house, and then on the edges here there's just, I set it up to do it automatically. Isn't that nice? On the edges here there's just you know, stairs like that. Okay, so then how are we gonna vary up the texture and dimensions on this guy? Because I mean, let's face it, like usually when you look at houses, the roof isn't the same exact type of wood as the side, or even the same color as the side. So we need to mess with that. Yeah, it's a cool little house. I've built houses like this, but let's see what we can do with it. All right, so then we come over here. I had a really hard time with this one in particular, getting some colors right that work well. And the trouble with it is that this right here is on the edges. So I'm going to show you how to extend these out and do a little dimension work with these to make it so that you can not run into the problem I ran into. But anyways, what I used is I used cyan concrete powder. And then in the middle of that, I put these cobblestone blocks. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that effect where, I don't know if you've seen it, where like there's like plaster on the side of a house, but then like some places like the plaster's coming off and you can see the underneath part. That's kind of what I was trying to simulate here. So I did that, and then I just put a few of these here and there. I noticed I did less of this than I did, like, say, on the wall or the tower. I did less of this sort of secondary block, and then that's all that is. On the roof, I did, these are just stone brick stairs to surround the roof as like an edging, or maybe these are like the gutters or something. And then in the middle, we have our dark oak and spruce wood, just kind of intermixed so that it varies up the texture of the roof. Okay, also I used some glass panes instead of the full glass blocks, and these are, I think, the light gray, like that. But it's the same exact house, same shape, everything. Oops, I tried using the white ones. You can see, I had trouble with some of the colors, and I played around with it. And I'm telling you that not because I want you to, you know, be impressed with the house, but I'm telling you that sometimes you have to mess with stuff. You have to change colors. You got to change these things. You got to put some in, take some out. So building is not something where you're just gonna build it and done. It takes a little bit of trial and error sometimes, so that's fine. All right, I'm definitely running out of time here, but let's take a look at the final one. So this is actually the same exact house as this, just with some dimension changes. So the first dimension change, and the most important one, is I brought the roof line out one. So this is where the original roof line is, and then I brought it out one. And then also underneath that, I put some upside down stairs. So that gives it makes it so that it doesn't have this thing going on where it's like a block here and then a block there. So it has these like sort of blocked out things. It looks a little bit more actually sloped like a roof. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. So right here, there is a half slab. I'll make it stop. Okay. Let's try that again. So right here, there's a stair block, and then right here, you just go underneath and you put an upside down one like that. And that's all this is all the way across. And then this right here, these are half, you can kind of see the bounding box. These are half slabs like that. Okay, so that was the first dimension change. The next dimension change is I put these these wood pillars right here as supports. And so I put them on each corner. So like it would be right here. This would be where the wood support would be. I put them on each corner. I put them up 3 high. And then what I wanted was the roof to go on top of those. So then I put these here, and then that made it so my roof was actually a block out, and it's actually a block taller than the other ones. So just because of that. Okay. Also I added this little chimney. So then all you have to do is just put a solid block here, cobblestone instead of the, whatever you call it, stair block, and then a couple of, stone walls on top of it to make a chimney. These are just some cobwebs. This might be a little bit difficult to do in survival, but I've done it before and it's not too bad. And then I also varied the dimension of that. So instead of going like up and then straight out, I put one over here and then one to the right and then one in line and then one to the left again. So that kind of makes it look like the smoke is sort of swirling out of the chimney. Okay. Another huge dimension thing that I did was I used some stair blocks. So this is an upside down stair right there. Okay. On top and on the bottom of the window. And it looks like the window is kind of like pushed back a little bit like that. Add some extra dimension there. And you can see I did that on all these windows. Okay. Then I just did a little bit of, you know, a couple of, these are just oak wood leaves. These are some jungle leaves. And then I did the bone meal thing. And then right here, these are just trap doors for shutters. You can also use ladders, but ladders didn't look as good on this particular build for that. Okay, and then I changed the texture of the door like that, and then I put this little stone brick thing around to kind of hold in these flower beds and to be like a little pathway. Right here, I didn't change the texture of this. This is actually the original oak wood, because as I was doing this, I was going to change that out, and then I stepped back and looked at it, and I was like, hey, that looks like a nice little stripe, so I just left it. And because these half slabs are actually covering the rest of the block, it just kind of worked. So yeah, so it's just playing around with the dimension and the textures. That's all that you do to improve your builds. So textures, dimensions. Okay, well, I hope you've liked this little video. I hope that you try some of these things. I hope that I made it clear enough for you to understand texture and dimension and how to use it a little bit to take any build and change it up and make it a little bit more real looking. And yeah, that's it. Okay, well, this has been Hex, and I appreciate you watching my videos. God bless.